Hello. One of the more unusual techniques that I sometimes use in hypnotherapy is past life regression. So what is past life regression? Well, regression describes a way of taking someone back in time using hypnosis to the source of a problem. Now, often, if we do a traditional hypnotic regression, source of a problem, someone might regress to a period in childhood where they experienced something unpleasant, which then later in life turned into a phobia or whatever it is. But sometimes we can take a person back even further. We might even just ask a person to go back to the source of the problem, and they may go back to a time in a previous existence before this lifetime. So what is exactly happening there? Is this real, or is it a part of the psyche? Is the unconscious just making up these stories? There's no way to be sure for certain. Now, let's take an example. Imagine a person has a phobia of public speaking. Now, that person might get up on stage and have a huge amount of fear that is disproportionate to the circumstances. Another person might get up on stage and feel empowered. So what's happening in these two situations? In a sense, we could say that each of those people are taking on a different role. The person that has no problem might take on the role of being a leader or a statesman. The person with the phobia might be taking on the role of a victim. So in a sense, what's happening is that we all take on different kinds of roles in different situations. Now, that person with the phobia, for example, we might do a hypnotic regression, take them back to a time in the past where they spoke out about something and were brutally murdered. Now, at some level of their psyche, they then have the belief that it's dangerous to speak out in public. Now, they know consciously in this life that they're not going to get killed for speaking out, for doing a speech in public. But at some level of the unconscious, that belief is still there at some level. So hypnotic regression is a way of uncovering the role that the person is playing in a given situation and healing that role. There are techniques we can do using hypnotic regression to heal the character, so that the person then really is separates that character from who they are today. Obviously, we don't really know if that character was real, if it's a real past life or whether it's just some aspect of the psyche taking on a role in that situation. But in a sense, it doesn't really matter, because the unconscious works in symbolism, metaphor. So in a sense, you could look at past life regression, if you're not a believer in reincarnation, for example, you could look at it in terms of metaphor, that it's like the person is playing that role, and by healing that character, we can release the person from those beliefs that are held deep in the psyche. And it can be a very powerful way of releasing things at very deep levels, and people can get very good results from past life regression itself. So it's one method of working. There are obviously different methods that I use. Past life regression is one of them. Another method that I often use is just the use of metaphor, which can be a conversational way of doing things. So there's many different ways of working. So I hope I've given you a little bit of an insight into past life regression. Thank you.